What prompted or inspired you to become an art designer?
Well, I've been attracted to the art since I was a kid. I've sat in front of the TV, drawing my favorite cartoons, copied my comic books to learn to draw those characters better and faster every day. And that's this love for the art always been with me until 2008, 2009. It was always more like a hobby and kind of a necessity. I had a band, and instead of outsourcing the artwork for our records, for our recordings, I did it myself. So I kind of learn how to navigate digital art and get inspiration from other artists, as everyone likes Dave McKean and Travis Smith, and they created some of my favorite album covers, and I wanted to do the same for my band. So I did that, and then at the time of the big crisis, I lost my job as a civil engineer, and I decided to pursue a little bit more assertively the arts and namely the key art and poster design side of things. I was in love with movies also from a very early age, and I always wanted to be related to that industry. And I found in poster design an excellent outlet for my creativity and to make the contribution I wanted to the film industry. And yeah, it's been an adventure since.
Can you share a bit about your background and experience in art and design?
In high school, I had lessons for art history and painting and learning techniques and the theories of art. I was still considering going to like a university PhD on fine arts and stuff like that. So, but it didn't happen. Of course, it's always something that acquaintances and family always look. Don't you want to go and get for a real job instead? So I kind of just abandoned that and went for my degree in civil engineering. Um, yeah, that's basically all my background. The rest of it is very on my own, doing my thing at my own pace, without much academic resources to it. Of course, with the internet, and then it 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 gave you a little bit more tools and a sea of information at your disposal to learn and experience. But other than that, it's just me. I had a period of my time where I to just to try and get a little bit more comfort in the financial area. I delved into corporate design, business cards, logos, stationery, banners, leaflets, brochures for companies of all sorts. But then the poster and key art design really took over, and that's where I found my place and what I should do um, professionally.
What inspires you in the field of art and design?
Well, it may sound a bit cheesy, but everything really, everything in the process really does complement other aspects of it. The whole process, and one can get inspiration from everything, from a piece of music, from a beautiful sunset, from something that you walk in the street and you see and just kind of, oh, that would be a cool idea for something. Um, yeah, that this constant process of absorbing and assimilating and trying to make something different out of it through your eyes. It's something that really fascinates and inspires me, and it's great to feel that I don't see that going away anytime soon. So that's kind of cool.
How do you typically approach a design project from start to finish?
Regarding posters, which is the what I'm doing full time now, it's basically the same process, minus one or two situations. I ask for a cut of the film or a script or a trailer or anything that will help me get a better sense of what the film is about, the moods, themes, and I try to come up with a few concepts that I think uh, convey those same aspects of the film to a general audience. So that one look at the poster, you feel this is a crime thriller, this is a comedy, this is a dark, twisted horror movie. So that's what I tried to do, and then those concepts can go back and forth quite a few times until we and the client decide that we've reached a good solid ground for a layout. So it moves in. I move into rendering or refine everything, color grading, lighting, all those little aspects, and yeah, and then goes for evaluation, minor adjustments if necessary, and it's done, basically. So that's the process.
Can you show examples of your past work that you're proud of?
Well, this is always a tricky one because I always feel like I forget to mention one or two that were really that I'm really proud of, and then are unjustly uh, left behind. But I think that a few of those can be highlighted. One being the ballerina poster. I think that poster turned out really well. It took me a bit to get together, not because it was a complicated poster, but because I was starting to use 3D assets to create my pieces and learning how to work with 3D software. So that was one of the really early experiences I had, and I probably bit a little bit more than I could chew, but I learned a lot with that piece, and I think it turned out really really cool. A barbarian poster that I made, it was very close to that one, also using 3D and then digital painting as well, combined with photography editing, which I used a screen grab from the film. I also think that that poster turned out really great. There's a Terminator 2 poster that I recently did. I made one a couple of years ago, and I always felt that that poster didn't make the movie justice and the love I had for that movie. I always looked at it like this doesn't really represent what this movie means to me. So I decided to do another one recently, and I think I kind of nailed it with that one. I'm very proud of it. I think it looks really cool too. And since it's one of my favorite movies of all time, I felt like I needed to do something special, and that really made me proud. So yeah, those can be some of the posters I'm most proud of.
What software and tools do you use for your design work?
Well, currently I'm using Photoshop for the foundation of it. I use Affinity Designer as well to create title treatments, building blocks. Um, Most of that work is done in vector form. Of course, it might be edited afterwards in Photoshop as well, but it starts there. And Blender to use 3D assets when I think it's necessary, or I just think it makes the process easier. So those three are the main tools I use to create my posters right now.
How do you collaborate with teams and clients on design projects?
I don't think there's anything special about the way I collaborate. I try to keep a very open mind and listen to all the feedback because despite being contracted to bring a vision to life, it's ultimately their vision that I have to bring to life. So I try to keep an open mind, just do the job. Of course, that I try to bring my own sauce and expertise, knowledge to the process, and try to steer in a direction that I think it's better if the initial idea it's not the best in my view for the project, but ultimately it's the client's uh, commission, and that they're the ones that have to be the most satisfied with it. So I think it's pretty easy to collaborate. try to make them involved, asking, and not be afraid of saying their piece and their ideas, so that nothing is left behind or forgotten. So yeah, I think it's very open and very two-sided, so to speak.
How do you stay up to date with design trends?
Honestly, I don't pay much attention to design trends, and, not because I don't, not because I don't respect that, or I think they can be useful. It's just not present. I'm just busy working and putting my own ideas to paper, and try to follow my instincts. Of course, I keep up to date to what's going on, and in terms of the work being produced. But I guess I'm not a very trendy person. Of course, in terms of trends, when it's social media, sometimes yeah, I board the hype train of some property that is trending, and try to cash in on it. But other than that, that's it. I don't try to do I don't search for, or try to keep up with any artistic, like, oh, the color of the year is purple. I mean, I'm not going to try and fit purple on a project just because it's trending. It has to fit. So yeah, I'm not really much of a trend person in that sense.
Can you describe a challenging project you've worked on and how you handled it?
Well, there was a project recently which was very challenging. I'm not at liberty to discuss it because it's not. I'm not given the green light from the client to talk about that by name. But it started with an idea that was explored. It seemed good, but at one point, almost towards the end, it got stuck, and the client really didn't know what to do with it, and I, because I didn't have feedback, was having troubles uh, getting it to reach that final yard to the finish line. So it just stayed idle for a couple of months, and I was so frustrated for not being able to finish it because it was a really great project. I decided to just revamp the whole thing, and approach the client with a different solution. Hey, I've been thinking about your project, and I came up with this thing. What do you think? And something clicked, and he replied, and he was really excited with the project again. I think we're in a good place. Let's try this. Let's try that again. Listening to ideas, experimenting things. Yeah, and in a couple of days, less than a week, it was finished, and the client was super happy with it. I was really happy that we finished it, and that we could close the door on that, because leaving something halfway, it's like just like the worst. It's just this dark cloud over your head permanently, and I just couldn't stop thinking about that project. I was just sitting there getting dust, and I hated it, and it was such a cool thing. And I'm really happy that that we found a way to make it what it was supposed to be, and that he was we were both really happy with the project. So that was challenging, because at one point I thought, this is not going to go anywhere, and nowhere, and it's a waste. But yeah, we made it.
Can you discuss a time when you had to manage multiple projects with tight deadlines?
That has happened, managing a lot of projects happening at the same time with short or long deadlines. Um, Luckily, I was not overwhelmed by it, because there's always that period where you have that client feedback waiting period where you send things, and then it always takes a while until the client sends you feedback, and it's always a good time to to squeeze in another things, and then do other bits and pieces of other projects. So I was really not too much overwhelmed. Luckily, the practice. Well, luckily, they say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And luckily, again, I practiced enough so that my process, when it comes to me doing things, is not too slow. so I can really dig in and know exactly what to do and how to do it. So it doesn't stay too long uh, uh, on the construction process. So yeah, it's been overwhelming, but not too overwhelming. I can always juggle a few projects at the same time, and taking advantage of those client feedback moments when you wait for it. So it's been not too hard so far.
What role do you believe art and design play in society?
Well, the role of art. I mean, when is not art around us? Like you get in the car to do a trip and you just turn on the radio. There's art for you. You just look outside and you see billboards. There's art. Even the car that you're driving, it's a piece of design and art in its own way. So I think it's crucial. Sadly, nowadays people seem to take it as something as for granted as artists just do this for passion, for hobbies, and uh, as a part-time thing when you're done with your real job. But no, these things are important. They require a lot of you and time and effort and a lot of passion. Yeah, and people sometimes have a little bit trouble realizing that they're surrounded by it, and that living in a world without it would be pretty bleak and empty and gray. So yeah, I think it's super important. I think it's everywhere, and it makes a huge role on our lives. Yeah.
What makes your design style unique?
Uh, um, I don't know. It's. I think it has to do with the way that I make my compositions. Yep. It's difficult to say because I myself like to try different styles. So probably my style is having no style. um, but yeah, I try to capture things in a more. I've been told that my darker style is very good. So I guess my style is dark. So I don't know. I like to think that I do have a style, although for me it's a little bit different to put my finger on it. Yeah, but I do think that I have a style, and people tell me, but I really can't say.
Where do you see the future of art and design heading?
Well, this is a question that would keep us occupied for a week or so. I'll try to go a little bit more to the point. I hope that the future of art and design remain fundamentally human, basically. We are seeing things change, not necessarily for the better, uh, and corporations and technology is going into a direction where artists are not being respected and compensated or taken even seriously regarding their concerns towards this technology that is built on their backs to be used against us, if I may. It is concerning. I hope some action is taken soon, and that what makes us human and the humanities fundamentally go back to what not what they were, because this is complicated, but to be something that is ours, that is used to express ourselves, our most inner thoughts, experiences, personal emotions, something that would make each piece of art unique, and not something that is looked at as a vehicle for profit with a total disregard for whatever whatever it levels on its path. It's concerning. I try to be optimistic. I see change, not yet to the level I would like it to be, but I hope something is done in the future, in the near future, and that heart and design returns to the place where it should be, which is our heart, basically.
What advice can you give to all those who want to become art designers, and what should they pay the most attention to?
Well, I'm not much for advices because I myself am still figuring this out as I go. What I can say, and that I try to apply and live by every day, is uh, go with your heart, go with your gut, work with passion, work with what you love, and you'll never go wrong in that way. If you explore and be honest about what you feel and what you love and put it on paper, it will translate, and you will be able to connect. Um, most importantly, with you. Like, you will be proud of what you do. Of course, this is we are our own worst critics, and things will always have a very sinuous learning curve, and things will look excellent in 1 minute and terrible in the next. But work, be honest about what you do and why you do it, and I think that whatever comes from a place of love and passion for the art will always end up right. um, Practice, always practice, and try to if you're curious about how is that done, try and figure out. There's tons of information and tutorials and stuff like that, and online. There's literally almost no excuse to do and learn something if you really are willing to. So practice. Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is part of the curve of the process. You have to fail in order to over and over again in order to succeed. I've read somewhere, like, you have thousands of bad drawings in you, so just try to get them out all at once, and then the good stuff will start to come out. So the more you practice, the more those will get out of the way, and the good stuff will start to come. So work at love. That's the biggest advice I can give. And practice hard, and don't be afraid to fail.